Vanessa, this is a type of episode you may not have known that we started doing this year.
I'm sorry, Marty. That insinuates that I listen to all of them.
I guess not.
Well, actually, I do, because your room is off of the living room and the doors are open, so I do hear.
Yes. So this is a short form type episode where it's mainly just one topic in a lot shorter format.
So I don't have to do an introduction?
Actually, you just did. All right, Vanessa, you're on this episode because at the end...
Okay, wait a minute. I didn't have to do an introduction, but now I got to do something else.
Yeah, I'm keeping you here. You just stay parked in that seat for the next 20 minutes or so.
Stay here and we're going to talk a little bit. Okay, what are we going to talk about, Marty?
So at the end of March, beginning of April, you and I took a trip out to St. Louis, Missouri, hopped in a car, drove an hour and a half away to Bland, Missouri, down a long, dirt, winding road.
I think it was gravel. But, I mean...
Gravel road.
It does make a difference, though, if there's a washout.
Single lane. Had no signal on my phone. Out to a place called the Gamers Ranch.
It was fantastic. We met up with two wonderful guys from Tantrum House. Or am I jumping ahead because I was super excited about meeting them?
No, that's it. Will and Jonah met us there because the whole purpose of this trip was that 3 publishers, Inside Up Games, Eagle Griffin Games, and Queen Games, invited a lot of content creators to come hang out at the Gamers Ranch over the weekend. They were going to show us a lot of games they have coming out, like on Kickstarter and stuff. And it was a chance to get a lot of content creators who had never met each other to meet, to kind of work together and do some collaborations.
The listeners may be thinking, what was I doing there? Tony could not attend. So I went in Tony's stead, and I said that I was a part because I support you and I do the intros.
Yes.
And I had a great time meeting everyone, and I'm excited to talk about this.
Let me just go through the content creators that were there. So we mentioned Tantrum House, which is Jonah and Will. There was James from Little Meeples, who's a photographer. We had Mick, Starla, and their son Grant from Our Family Plays Games. We also had all the Meeples of the Rainbow, which was Steph and Michael. Blue Peg, Pink Peg was there, Rob, Christina, and Brandon. Board Game Coffee with Mark and Brittany. Grant Lyon, Danielle Standring, and Man vs. Meeple, which was Ryan, David Waybright and his wife Alicia, and Emily. And plus, very famous designer, Mateo Lasarda was there, which was super excited to meet him.
Yes. For me, I didn't know. Everyone was geeking out all over the place, and it was nice kind of watching that.
Well, meeting Vital was pretty cool because I've been a fan of his games for quite a while.
And he was very cool. He was so down to earth and very cool. Okay, let's back up. So we pull up because we're thinking we're in the middle of nowhere. What is this going to be? It's like you suddenly turn a corner and it is a gamer's paradise. Huge
house with a man-made lake that's stocked with fish, and you can canoe and kayak.
First of all, it was on like 167 acres.
Yeah. And then there's like, I'm just talking about the outside stuff.
Okay,
there's an 18-hole disc golf course.
Around the lake.
Yeah, the big lake with piers and everything like that.
3 fire pits.
Yes, forgot about that. You go inside, and then it's just massive on the inside. Huge living areas, big kitchens, and huge gaming rooms.
Yeah, it was very beautiful, very top state-of-the-art kitchen, island. It was very open. It's perfect for a large group of people.
And we had 20, 25 people there, including all the publishers that were there too. And what's so crazy about this is it's called the Gamers Ranch because literally you ain't got to bring a game.
No.
In the game room, there are hundreds and hundreds of board games he has set up, and he keeps them up to date with the latest stuff.
And it's not just board games. It was the board game area, all alphabetical. The way they were organized was unbelievable. So we had a large room with all these games alphabetical, hundreds. And then out in the main room, there was the board game...
BGG 100.
Yes, thank you. BGG 100. And then there was another...
New games.
Yes, yeah. So that was just incredible. So then in that room with all the board games, there was a pool table or a couple pool tables.
Yeah, there was that. There was a ping pong table.
A ping pong table, yep. And then you go to another room, and there were like 4 pinball machines.
And we're talking super nice pinball machines like Mandalorian.
And then there was the PC gaming area. How many PCs did they have set
was
up?
it 8 or so? Basically, it was for LAN gaming, where you could just sit down and play. And then there was a DDR machine. I don't know if anybody did that one, but that was back there and back.
Dance, the revolution.
And so it was all the board games, but what we were blown away with, there was a whole shelf of pre-built Magic decks. And we immediately sent a picture to our son because he's really into Magic. Basically, you just go there and just pick up Commander deck and start playing. Upstairs was a Lego building station.
Oh my gosh. It was like a 6-foot table, and it was just covered with Lego pieces. Covered. And then there were some things already built. You just go. You just build whatever you want. And then there was also a miniature painting area.
With like hundreds of paints, paint brushes, all the supplies. He just had some models out there if you just wanted to sit down and practice painting and stuff.
And I can't express how everything is so neat and organized. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. Yeah,
it's one of those things that is, again, it's called Gamers Ranch in Bland, Missouri. Mm-hmm. If you have a group of 20 people or so, I think we figured out the cost. It was like $80, $90 per person for like 20 people or so. It's not a bad deal. 4 days hanging out there. It's worth it. So, all right. So that's the facilities, which were just mind blowing.
I want to say, because we just said it was so organized and so well thought out. I have to say that about the organizers of it.
Yeah.
And now it was called Atom.
Oh, it is Agora for Tabletop Opinionated Minds.
And it wasn't a convention. It was a time for content creators to come together, to work, to meet each other, to work together and promote the hobby.
Yes, exactly. And the publishers that were there, they had some Kickstarters that are, getting ready to crank up and stuff. We'll talk about a few of those in a second.
Sure.
That was kind of showing off some of those things. But the main thing they said, look, we just want a lot of different people in this space who maybe never met each other, come hang out and do things. Like me as a podcaster knows nothing about TikTok or short form videos like on Instagram and stuff. So it was cool to see Danielle and Grant do their work. The amount of work that goes into those short 30-second, 1 minute.
Incredible.
I mean, hats off to them for all the work they go into. In fact, make sure to go look for them on TikTok or Instagram because they're going to be posting the stuff that we did.
Why don't at the end we'll go through everybody and give how they can find.
Oh, I don't know if that means that's work. I've got to go find them all. So maybe I can put that in the show notes.
Well, you said as a podcaster you didn't know about TikTok or whatever. I want to say as a layperson, I don't know about podcast. I don't know about any of it, but I know a good time.
And you had a good time?
I did. Let's just start. Let's tell everything that we did.
All right.
There was an itinerary board. I was very impressed with that.
There was an itinerary board. And the thing is there are some games, if you want to learn how to play, you can sit down and play them. So, for example, Eagle Griffin Games has a game coming out from Vital called Inventions. I sat down and played this game. If you like Vital's heavier games, like Lisboa, etc., Weather Machine just came out, you're going to want to check out Inventions because it's also another mind-blowing game. But I think his stuff gets better and better each time because the board is laid out in such a way that it's one of those, I'm not even going to try to explain what it is. You take an action, but what was so cool is on the board, the steps of each action of where you put your piece tells you exactly what you get to do with that action. So there's no reference sheet that you're looking at. It's written directly on the board, which is nice. And his thing is being able to create combos where if you do this, I get to do this and do that and make a real rewarding turn. This is absolutely no different. And this is going to be coming out on Kickstarter sometime in June. So you want to keep an eye out for that if you're a fan of his.
So that game was Kickstarted. It took you how long to play that? And you played that actually with him, with the designer.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
He taught us the game. It was probably 3.5 hours, but the teach was 30 minutes. So if you've ever played any of his games, they are super in-depth. Obviously, if I was to go sit down and play again, it would go much quicker because I already kind of know how to play.
Yeah, that really looked like a neat game. So Inventions coming out on Kickstarter.
Another one of his games that I got to sit down and play, which is a simpler game, is called Bot Factory. One of my favorite games from him is called Kanban. Bot Factory is a simplified version of that game that only plays in like 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the player count. I played with our family games, had a great time sitting down and playing with them. And it really does feel like Kanban, but just a simpler version. And he said he's going to start doing more of those because another game he was showing off there is like a simpler version of The Gallerist, which I was a big fan of, but it is a long game. It takes a long time to get to the table. So I'm a fan of these games that have the feel of the longer game, but just in a shorter time period.
So let's go through all the games that you played, and then we'll touch on some of the crossover content.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to highlight some things I didn't get to sit down and play. Terminus.
I heard a lot of people talking about Terminus.
Terminus was a big hit. It's Inside Up Games, currently on Kickstarter right now. It's one of his heavier games, Inside Up Games, heavier games as they've put out. It's a track laying and stuff like this. So I didn't get a chance to sit down and play it, but a lot of people really enjoyed that game. Earth, we're actually going to be playing that very soon and covering on an upcoming episode, but that is already out. Marrakesh,
also Inside Up Games.
Queen Games was showing off their Stefan Feld City Collection. Marrakesh is coming out. They have an Essentials version, which is basically a cheaper version of the big Kickstarter game. I got to play it at Origins. If you like Stefan Feld and you want to check it out, keep an eye out on them because they're going to have some other games coming out on Kickstarter.
So there were a lot of games there that the publishers were showing and wanted you to play, but we also had the opportunity to play just some fun games with the publishers. I'm thinking of Connor.
Yes, yeah. We got to play Nekojima.
Yes.
From a company called Unfriendly Games.
Yeah. So we played with Connor and Brandon from Blue Peg, Pink Peg.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that game.
Which is like a dexterity game. It's very simple. There's like a circular board broken up into 4 quadrants.
But it is also a strategy to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you roll 2 die.
Uh-huh.
And this colors that represent the different quadrants. You're going to be putting pieces on the board, which are basically 2 dowels
connected by a
cord.
A cord.
Yes.
Yeah.
A small thin rope.
And you have 4 groups of those. So it was sizes and colors.
Yes. So it's very simple. All you got to do is make it so that a dowel is in each of the colors. So, for example, if you did red and green, one dowel must be standing on green, one must be standing on red. But the thing is, the rope that goes between them.
Well, it can't touch anything. And each of the team members has to put down a dowel. That's hard.
Yes.
Like you're holding one and I'm holding one, and we have to each put one down.
And the dowels are different sizes. So one may be tall, one may be short.
Yeah.
But once you're done, the rope,
nothing can touch anything.
The cord that's running between the 2 can't touch anything.
Not the dowel, not the board, another string or cord.
You can stack a dowel on top of a dowel.
You can do that.
Which a lot of that was done. And so basically you just keep going till somebody knocks it over, and then the game
had
ends.
that little Jenga aspect of you're going to lay one and it's all going to fall apart. I'm trying to remember. So we had 4 different groups of dowels, and would you say there were 4 or 5 dowel sets within those?
Yes.
So we thought it would fall before it did. So there at the end, both teams were working together. We wanted to get every dowel set out there.
Yeah, it's funny. It started out as competitive, and the further we got.
Wait a minute. We left out a major component. Meow.
Oh my gosh. Was it cats?
Yeah, it's cats.
All right.
So it's all about cats hanging on telephone poles.
Yeah. So you're pulling out pieces out of a bag.
Uh-huh.
And if you happen to, which represents the cords.
Uh-huh.
And if you happen to pull out a black piece, that means after you've placed your 2 dowels, you must hang a cat on a cord.
Yeah.
Which really screws things up.
You're choosing for the other team. So like re-rolled, and we chose and told the other team where to put their dowels and if they had to hang a cat.
Yeah.
And that got difficult.
But like you said, at the end, we were so close to having every dowel placed.
Uh-huh.
And Connor said, I'd never seen anybody do that. So then our goal was to try to do it. But I ended up knocking it over with like 1 or 2 pieces later. It was getting tough.
We were at the next to the last.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it might have been Connor's first time playing. I can't remember. I can't remember who brought the game.
I can't either.
It might have been David.
Was it David?
It was David.
Okay.
And David's wife, Alicia, was there.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, for the first time ever, you and I got to play Camel Up. I can't believe we never played Camel Up before.
Well, you're the game bringer to the family. You can't fault me.
That's true. Now, we did just play Camel Up.
That was on you.
We did just play Camel Up, the card game that we'll be talking about later.
We played the board game version at Adam, and it was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Then we played the card game version. Yeah, I was like, "Where's the board piece?
Over Easter, yeah.
Where are the dice?
You like
Marty?
the dice? You like the nice little
where are the dice?
Little plastic pyramid that you squeeze. So, yeah. So while we're there, we're playing a lot of different games, and there were games going on constantly all over the place. Or people may have been playing ping pong or doing stuff. A lot of us went out one day and played 9 holes of disc golf. But it was more than that, Vanessa, because on Friday night we got to play Mall Night Long.
Mall Night Long. That was so much fun.
Which was basically from the old podcast, Flip the Table. Chris, the moderator, runs that, and I've played that before.
So it's virtual for those of you that don't know.
Yes.
He is running it via Zoom, I guess. And he has it set up to where it looks like an 80s game show, complete with commercials and prizes, all from the 80s. Yeah. And the premise is you go through a mall, you go to a department store, the food court, a record store, and you have
like a video rental.
A video rental. Yep. And it's kind of sort of trivia, but not really. It's something that everybody can answer.
Yeah. And it ends up, usually the last thing he does is he shows you items from eBay, and you have to guess what the value or what they listed that item at. And it's crazy stuff like random electronic parts, a melted Atari 7600, stuff like that.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. And that is a good team building exercise. So that was really cool.
And he runs those for anybody. Basically, you can just go out to his website from all night long and basically schedule him, and he'll run a game for you, for your family and stuff.
Yeah. And I think that was a really good price too.
Then on Saturday night, we did something I'd never done before.
It was karaoke night.
It was karaoke night. And a lot of people are into karaoke that I did not realize. A lot of people are into show tunes, which I was really surprised at. How many show tune songs how many songs from Les Mis did we hear?
There were a lot. And let me tell you, they could sing.
Probably they
could sing.
One of the ones that kind of blew me away that night was Michael.
All the Meeples of the Rainbow.
All the Meeples of the Rainbow, who sang "I'm Just a Sweet Transvestite" from Rocky Horror Picture Show, complete with choreography. I mean, I'm like, okay, you must have practiced this somewhere.
It was amazing. And let me tell you, from our family plays games, not a dry eye in the house. Starla.
Oh man, she can sing.
She sings so well.
She did 2 songs.
It was beautiful. She sang beautiful.
She started out with Midnight Train to Georgia. And we said, well, we want to hear one more. She came back and sang a song from, I believe it was Brandy. But she did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, I actually did karaoke.
You did.
And
yeah, you did.
So I thought I would pick a song that was really loud, so the instruments would be loud over me. And I forgot how high the song gets. I was just thinking of the verse of "Pour Some Sugar on Me" by Def Leppard, which is pretty low. But then I forgot how high it gets in the chorus, and then I was just hoping people would just start singing along.
They weren't singing along. They were looking at me, and I didn't know what to do.
You came up and planted a kiss on me on stage.
Well, it was sugar. You said pour some sugar on me, so I
did.
Gave you some sugar.
But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we're missing that we did and everything. It was just, again, so there was a lot of stuff that was going on that we weren't a part of. It's just games and activities and stuff.
Well, I want to talk about the food for a minute because the food, I was kind of worried about the food setup. So everyone brought some snacks if they wanted to, and we just set them in the kitchen on the shelf there. But the coordinators, the guys had just all kinds of snacks and water and stuff for us. And then they had catered each meal every night.
Yes. Yeah, which was super nice. So it was really nice just to be able to tell me you want to go get something to eat. You can just go grab something out of the fridge and make something.
Yeah, they had it set up very well.
Now, there's some weird things that were ate. Because one of the collaboration
there were
things.
some weird things that were ate. Some weird things that were said.
So one night, the short form people wanted to do basically like beer pong, except with meeples.
Wait a minute. So now we're getting into the collaborative things.
Yes, but this ties into the food thing.
Yeah.
Because it was a bunch of glasses with some of it not so bad, Gatorade, water.
There were 3 bad, there were 3 good.
Yeah, there was apple.
Wait a minute, 3 good. Gatorade, water, and then there was like a clean green juice.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad because it didn't look good, but it actually was a good tasting.
Apple cider vinegar.
Now the 3 bad. Apple cider vinegar, salsa,
and sour cream.
And sour cream.
That had been room temperature. And so basically you're crossing the table, and if you get a meeple in, the other person has to drink it. I ended up having to drink the sour cream.
Mm-hmm.
It had chunks in it. I don't know where the chunks were coming from. Basically, I just gulped it so it wouldn't sit in my mouth too long, so I wouldn't gag.
I'm glad karaoke was the night after that.
But I think the worst that's good. I think the worst thing though had to be that vinegar.
apple cider vinegar.
I think Danielle's the one that had that. I was like, you're going to be hurting later on.
She went, Gloom. Didn't bother her.
No, it didn't bother her. And also,
but you talked about setup. It took a long time to set that up, and they had it planned very well, and cameras at different angles. And
a lot of the videographers were just constantly just taking clips and videos the entire time that they're going to basically put out together at some point in time. We recorded a little segment of Blue Peg Pink Peg about couples in gaming, which will be released at some point in time in the future. They were talking to a lot of the different couples there. And then you and I...
dun, dun, dun.
Talking of food, talking of collaboration, we brought in a lot of guests for a special Taste Buds segment recorded on site, which one group had grits that we bought and brought and made. And then another group had a candy bar that also contained Carolina Reaper bits in it. So
that you bought from a local store here.
Yes. So let's jump over and go hear that.
Taste buds. Two incredible stars. Taste buds. Two incredible stars. Taste buds. They're just a bunch of.
Hey, y'all, it's time for a special segment of Rolling Dice and Taking Names, Taste Buds. And Marty, we have some special guests here with us today, don't we?
Yes, we do. In fact, this is interesting. This is the first time you've actually been on a Taste Buds segment, too.
Yes, because y'all taste some really gross things. And luckily today we are bringing something very delicious from the South for our... is it
international?
I was going to say
guest.
Guinea pigs, but we'll go with esteemed international guests. That's it.
Okay, yeah. So let me set this up here. Let me explain where we are. We're at a special gathering called ATOM, ATOM, which Connor's here from Inside Up Games. Connor, I don't remember what that stands for.
Thanks to lovely Travis of Queen Games, it is the Agora for Opinionated Tabletop Minds.
I don't even know what Agora means.
No, that's incorrect. I spelled autumn. So it is actually the Agora tabletop opinionated minds. That makes more sense.
Okay, it's a bunch of people getting together, content creators and
Agora
publishers,
is.
just to hang out.
Just find it yourself.
Nobody knows what it is, right?
And that's where you're going to hear a bunch of different voices. And unfortunately, because we traveled here on plane, we've only got 2 mics. So we're going to have to pass mics around here. So let me go around the table and explain who we have here. First, we have Mark and Brittany from Board Game Coffee.
Hey, how's it going?
You may see them on YouTube do incredible jobs of game reviews and gameplays. Mark's an incredible videographer, and it's like he's one of the I watch your videos are just really super top notch. So
Oh, thanks,
Thank
Marty.
you.
and from Canada, which is
Yes.
why you're here, because you've never had
We've
grits,
never had
right?
grits.
Never had grits.
I don't even know what a
So
grit
exciting.
is.
There's grit and sandpaper.
Somebody showed me a picture of that yesterday, and I was like, that is not how I would have pictured a grit.
Yes, well, we'll explain what it is in just a second. Let's go on down the table to James, who's with Little Meeples. He has wow, Marty, English photographer. I was going to say videographer, but a photographer who does some amazing pictures. And I believe, Connor, you actually use him for your games for Inside Up.
Yeah, anyone looking for an amazing photographer and videographer, highly recommended James from Little Meeples. And even if you aren't looking for one, check out his Instagram feed. One of the best things he does is super short, really well shot videos, but also teach you how to play the game.
Wow, this is just a long commercial. That was good.
Yeah, we have an Instagram page where we share a lot of family-related games. So if you have kids or older kids, this is a good place to check out games that works for them.
And you just heard from Connor earlier from Inside Up Games, who makes some incredible games that we've covered many times on the show before.
Have we met?
Shut up to me. Connor and I love each other. We're really best buds. We're always like picking on each other and everything like that. And who's also from Canada so far, 4 people from Canada, and a special guest from Portugal, the esteemed designer, some of the most incredible heavy games that you probably played recently, such as Lisboa and most recently Weather Machine, Vital Assertive. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me here. I'm having a lot of fun.
So it is. By the way, I just played one of your latest games, Inventions, which will be coming out soon. We'll be talking about more of that on the show. After playing it yesterday, I had to go take a nap because my head hurt.
Yeah.
But head hurt in a good way.
It's good to me to hear that. So.
It's a good game.
I just flew like 7,000 kilometers just to hear that.
All right, so let me explain what we're going to be having today. So this is grits. Grits originated in the 16th century among the Native American Muskogee tribes of the southeastern United States, including Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So these tribes are credited with grinding dried corn into coarse, gritty texture and serving it to the Europeans, the settlers that came here. So that's how they came to be and why they're a big deal down in the South, because that's where they originated from. So Vanessa, if you wouldn't mind, we got 5 bowls here that we're going to scoop out grits to everybody. Now, these have been sitting for a while, so hopefully they're not too cold as we got everything set up. Now, I will say a caveat. They didn't have normal tabletop salt. Wow. Table salt. It's early in the morning here, y'all.
You could sell that. I guarantee you could sell
Tabletop salt.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, heck, you would. So. You have your own booth at Gen Con.
So I had to use Himalayan pink salt, which I've never used. To me, it's not got a strong of salty flavor, so if you need to add more salt, feel free. And we also have some cheddar cheese here. If you want to crumble a little cheese on top, that is totally up to you.
So as a newbie,
butter.
what is normal? Do you normally get really salty? Do you normally put cheese? Like, what is the go-to?
Salt to taste. If you just need more salt, add more salt. And personally, I like it pretty salty and pretty buttery.
I mean, who doesn't like butter?
That's true. That's true. So Vanessa is now putting individual pats of butter on everybody's bowl.
We're going to bring her back to Canada with us. She is a hostess.
Yeah. It's kind of like melted vanilla ice cream.
I'm going to go with it doesn't taste like melted
It does not
vanilla
taste
ice cream.
it, nor is the consistency like ice cream.
So speaking of desserts, some places in the South do eat it with sugar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they'll put sugar on it. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah, it'll be the texture for you.
So as usual for a podcast, no one can see that they didn't serve. Okay, they're finally serving themselves. I was a little bit worried. They sat down, they gave us a bowl.
Like, go ahead, you eat it.
I guess we're just supposed to mix the butter out.
Mix the butter up. And then once you feel it, it's good. And here's the thing. If you take a taste, you need more salt, put a little more salt on there. And then we'll just do some reactions to one of the more well-known Southern cuisines, grits, which is typically used in breakfast foods, but also in the coastal South Carolina and in New Orleans. Shrimp and grits is extremely popular, where you make spicy a sauce, mix it with the grits, and have boiled shrimp, usually. Boiled shrimp mixed in with the grits. Very popular.
Yeah, I was actually talking to David from MVM yesterday, and he just kept mumbling on about shrimp and grits. Yeah, over and over.
Yeah,
This thing.
shrimp and grits.
And eventually Mark and I will tell you what we thought it was after we've tasted it.
What you thought grits were?
Yeah.
I got to say right now, grits look gross.
Yes.
Like this-
This was I served babies when.
All right.
Ready? Are we doing
Should
this?
we not at the same time?
If you want to at the same time, go ahead.
Well, I want to.
You want to go one at a time? All right, yeah, we'll just pass it down. Since we have
Brittany's
one
already
mic,
in.
we'll pass down the mic and get each person's reaction. First is Brittany from Board Game Coffee.
I actually don't mind the grit. I was expecting it to be sandier, and it's smoother than I thought.
So one of the things is you have to cook it for like 30 minutes, low and slow, and try to get it more creamy.
I like it. I like it.
Yes.
So is this like a?
Come on.
So is this like a pre-made thing? It's like does it come out of a packet and you just like?
So this is like basically, I can show you it. It's ground dried corn in a bag, and then we mix it with water and milk and butter, salt and pepper, and just for like 30 minutes till it gets to this consistency.
It's very creamy.
Well, that wasn't in question. It's clearly creamy. I'm nervous.
He is nervous.
He's a texture person.
Oh.
It's not. It's not
Shaking
for
his head
texture
no.
people.
Shaking his head
Not
no.
for texture people.
Don't bother me.
Mark, okay, I'm trying. How can I express this?
Then I have to try
He's
it again.
wincing. Right now, Mark is
try it with
wincing.
the
It's like
big
no.
spoon.
How does this come out?
I'm going to
Turn
try
it
with
upside down.
cheese.
Oh, gotcha.
Turn the bottom.
No, I don't want cheese.
Yeah.
No cheese. Definitely
And
no
usually
cheese.
it would be grated cheese
I don't like
all
cheese.
melted
No.
in there,
At all.
and you can get
I don't.
yeah.
Well, on pizza.
Maybe
Okay, so it doesn't matter what Mark thinks about grits. He doesn't like cheese, so he
Okay,
obviously has
oh,
weird, he has
yeah.
weird standards.
All right, while he mixes that up, James, why don't you go ahead and jump in there?
We should need some drinks.
That's my second bite.
It's a visceral reaction.
So,
Mark
like
had.
Mark, we weren't sure what it was at the start, but after seeing it,
I will
it's
say
what I expect it to be like from what I can see from it.
it's cooled off some. They usually served very hot.
Yeah, it has little bits in there. So you're pretty much done, but you're not done. Because you still got things in there to chew for a while.
And it kind of coats your mouth.
Yeah. And we were talking about yesterday how it seems like this is a dish that every culture has in some sort of form. Like the Asians have the congee,
Yes.
which is some sort of form of porridge. There's oatmeals, or like a form of porridge. I think this is similar in that sort of every culture has their own version of this in some way.
If I had to describe it right now, I'd go with sandy butter.
Sandy butter. Bang on.
Sandy
Bang
butter.
All right, Connor, what do you think here?
I would agree with Mark, but I'd go one step further and say that it's not sandy butter, but it's the batter that then gets made into sandy butter. It's got that extra thickness where, if you steal a little bit of cake batter from the bowl, like pancake batter.
Pancake batter. Someone drops.
I will
And
say,
no
as we're
offense is
sitting here-
meant, but it's almost like it fell on the ground and you scooped it back up and you're like, oh, there was something on the ground still. I got sand in my mouth.
No, it's so funny. As we're sitting here talking, Brittany's over here just eating away.
Well, that's the thing. So, like, I meant no offense because that's what I thought after the first bite. You're not used to it. And it's like a thickness. And I love yogurt, so I don't mind that thicker texture. But then I was like, all right. And I added some salt like you recommended, and then it got better. And then I added a little bit of cheese, and then I didn't even eat any of those things. Just you keep kind of eat it. And I think it would go really well with any kind of toppings. Anything you added to it to really kind of get that extra flavor burst in there.
What you need to add to this is some bacon and eggs, and then you just kind of shove that off to the side, and it'd be fantastic. Yeah, that'd be.
So let's get here Vital, since I think he's already been digging in over here.
Well, I don't know what I want to think about it. Everybody described it clearly. It's like oatmeals, maybe, with some sandy. But I enjoyed with cheese because, well, I like cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's a bit. The texture is not my favorite. It's just like oat for babies, maybe. It's nice. After we had some salt and cheese, yeah, I think I agree with Mark. I prefer egg with bacon and just put it aside. It's not my favorite. So probably you can get used to it after a while. It's a cultural thing, probably.
Yes, it
you
is.
are
It is.
getting, but for me, it's not my favorite food.
No, totally understand that.
Am I the only one that wants seconds?
Oh, well, we
And
have another big bowl down there.
I wonder if it's because I've been wanting to try grits for so long that the texture doesn't throw me because I kind of knew what to expect. So I'm just focused on the flavor. And whereas you over here didn't really know what to expect. So
Now,
I'm wondering if that's the
Connor
difference
finished
in the psychology of it. It's very tasty though. Like I like it.
You like it?
I want to try the different flavors.
So as you can hear, my bowl's empty. And I think it also helped that I was up till 4 a.m. with some of you guys, and I'm just starving.
Okay.
So I would eat the tablecloth right now.
Yesterday, someone just drink a glass of vinegar. So
Oh yeah, y'all keep an eye out on TikTok channels. I can't remember whose that one was that did it. It was Danielle's. We were playing like beer pong, but it was with meeples and not beer, but weird things like apple cider vinegar and sour cream, which I ended up drinking salsa. Yeah, so keep an eye out on that. Now, Vanessa, tell them how you eat your grits.
So I grew up eating grits and still eat them like this. I make a fried egg runny, and I will mix it all up with the grits, and I eat them that way. And then we've talked to some other people here. They don't use, I don't know if they put the salt and pepper in them. They use it with sugar. And a lot of people in the South put sugar on their grits instead of some.
with sugar can be a different taste, completely different than what we eat right now.
There's a Portuguese dish, arroz doce.
Arroz doce, yes.
Arroz doce is way better than this.
Because the texture is close, but you feel the rice. Okay, the arroz doce is sweet rice,
Oh, okay.
but it's with milk. You have milk here.
Yes.
And sugar, a lot of sugar. So that's why you can. Yeah, and it also cinnamon in the top. So
So it's more of
The
a
texture
sweet
is
dish.
closed.
Oh, okay.
The texture is a dessert, and the texture is closed. But you feel the rice. It's different here because here you feel sand. Yeah.
I think the other thing,
Ground corn.
which is delicious,
Corn.
corn. Yeah, it's corn.
I think the other thing is what Mark and I were talking about last night when we heard about it was that it's also what you think it's going to be. So when we heard the term grits, we both thought it was more of like the bacon pieces left off of a grill, like when you're scraping all those
Well,
remains.
number one, you set up this in your mind
Exactly.
how horrible it's going to be.
No,
and
no,
it's
no,
like,
no. Are you kidding me? The
I- we
bacon
prefer
pieces
it. We
off
would
the
like
grill.
it.
That sounded great.
Those are amazing. So I was expecting like a darkened, like kind of like half burnt, super crispy experience, and you get this thing that's like way more pudding-like. So I was just like, that's not what I was expecting.
And since you guys can't see, since we've started this, Vital's already designed a worker placement based on grits. And
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
just
he-
looking for the word. I can speak this in Portuguese. I
So-
can express myself much better about what I feel with this. Sim.
I
Meal.
was going to say it would make a great game because there's a whole science in the grinding of the corn. There are yellow grits.
Yes.
There are white grits. There's stone ground grits. These were water. Did you see that?
water ground grits, yeah.
And I don't know what the difference in all that is.
Water
And then
ground
there's
grits.
what we usually use, just the cheap Quaker instant grits.
Because they cook so much quicker. So it looks like sitting at the table, we have 1 for, 4 against. So that's what, 25%? That's not bad.
We got 40-60.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
why not?
I'll accept that.
I'm sorry. I didn't
No, that is-
enjoy it.
That is quite all right because I've tried other things from other cultures. Like, yeah, that's just not for me.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things. If you grow up
probably.
with it, you kind of get used to it.
I want to try some sweet rice now.
Sweet rice, but we have even better desserts there. Just like pastel de nata is a pastry that is really sweet also, and people went crazy with that. So. Yeah, not bad. It's amazing. I think it's the best dessert in the world.
I prefer cajadas de laranja.
He's like, oh
orange
no,
one.
he brought that out.
Isn't that half a
Pastel de natas are good. They're good.
I'm
They're good.
kind of lost right now.
Oh yeah, and things here. So like me and Vital are both Portuguese, and we both hate it. So if you look at that, might skew the percentages, right? Because like 100% dislike from Portugal, the Portuguese representatives.
So, but okay, so if we break it down like that, 2 out of 3 Canadians like it.
Go Team North America.
Don't forget that he has
I'm half,
certain
and I'm a little torn.
Portuguese
So if he's torn, it's 2.5 Canadians out of 3.
I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time and making it this morning for us and then setting it up so that we could have a taste tester. I really appreciate it.
You were so welcome. I'm glad you got to try it.
Thank
and
you.
what you need to do is, if you ever have a chance to come down south, we need to get together. If do you like shrimp,
Yes.
then shrimp and grits will blow you
I want
away.
some so
'cause
badly.
It's spicy.
Oh, I like it.
So let's before we finish up, why don't we tell everybody where we can find you? So Mark and Brittany.
Well, you can find Board Game Coffee on YouTube. We got a little channel over there, and we do some stuff over on Instagram. We also have a Facebook page you can follow, and it's all under Board Game Coffee. So you go to anything, just search for Board Game Coffee, and you'll see our steaming cup of dice mug.
And in fact, he is making a little documentary of the weekend, so you might see some of this on his YouTube channel. So go check out his YouTube channel. James?
You can find me on Instagram at Little Meeples, where we have short form content for board games that we share and play, and see if you like them too.
My name is Vital Lacerda. I make really light games for children.
And you cannot find me anywhere.
Connor McGoy, Inside Up Games. On behalf of the Inside Up Games team, you can find us everywhere at Inside Up Games, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I'm probably missing one, but... And we have a couple Kickstarters. Oh my, these people are so good. Yeah. Brittany, thank you. Yeah, we have a Kickstarter that is going from April 4th to the 25th for Terminus, our heaviest game that Vital has asked to play.
I will back
so,
it, for sure. I will back Terminus, for sure.
So he said everybody in the world should back it for sure. I just translated it for him there. He said it's the best game he's ever played, better than all of his games combined. That is amazing.
We also give Board Game Coffee also gives Terminus a thumbs up from our playthrough so far. We really enjoyed it.
Wow, thank you.
And I'm Vital Lacerda, and you can find me, on the usual places like Instagram, Facebook, and Discord. Discord is where I playtest my games, so you are welcome to join me and try my future games.
And keep an eye out for Inventions that's coming out on Kickstarter soon from Eagle Griffin Games. Do you know the date for that?
15 June, I think.
All right.
I'm not sure, but I think it is.
Sometime in June. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. We do have eggs and bacon downstairs for y'all to go enjoy right now. But now we're going to set up for another taste test.
A few moments later.
I am excited to have around the table a lot of some familiar voices and some familiar faces on YouTube and TikTok and everything. I'm going to go to the first-time guest first. We have Grant Lyons, who you may know from on YouTube, a comedian. Grant, hey, thanks for sitting in and enduring this with us.
Hey, I'm happy to be here and also dreading being here, based on what we're about to do together. I'm a wimp, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm happy to be talking to you. Slightly worried about what you're going to force me to eat.
That's taste buds.
Yeah.
All right. Next, beside him is Danielle Stranding, who you know on TikTok, making a lot of cute shorts. Not like the ones that you wear, but like video shorts. You may make cute shorts too.
I haven't worn shorts in like 10 years. Maybe this will be the comeback. This is my new tagline. I wear cute shorts.
I suggest jorts. Make them come back.
Oh, like Daisy Dukes. Ooh, we're going to make you some
Jorts.
cute shorts.
Speaking of jorts.
Speaking of jorts, right beside him, David Waybright from Man vs. Meeble.
This is old hat for me. I've been on, once?
Oh, shut up. Is that true?
No, yeah, I've been on a few times. I am looking forward to this. I'm going to go the opposite of Grant, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say I'm going to take this experience better than anyone at the table.
Wow. Oh, okay. And since you're there, why don't you introduce your lovely wife who's going to be participating?
My
with
lovely
us.
wife, who's sitting across from me, as you can all see, is Elisha. Elisha, say
hello. I'm also excited, and I feel like I'm going to fare better than David.
Oh, those are big jorts to fill.
And then that boisterous, loud voice you just heard is Rob from Blue Peg Pink Peg.
I am also very excited what's going to take place in a couple minutes.
All right, so let me ask, how's everybody's tolerance to heat, or do you even like spicy foods?
I like it spicy.
Foods?
I like spicy. No, yeah, foods. That too.
I'm very tolerant of bringing the heat. I don't know if I'm as tolerant of eating the heat.
Got it.
So, you let me bring some heat, I'll bring it.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
You bring it up, he'll eat
Still
it.
talking about food?
All right. So if you could hand me the wrapper to this. So let me explain what this is. I mean, this is just a sweet treat, y'all. This is a candy bar. It is a strawberry chocolate candy bar. It just happens to be infused with Carolina Reaper pepper.
And what's the name of said candy? This is my favorite part of this whole adventure.
Pink Mist.
We're gonna be consuming some Pink Mist.
Pink Mist. Now, what we have is what looks like a standard chocolate bar in front of you, and it's sectioned off into little pieces. When I went to Pucker Butt, which is the name of the store that I purchased, this Pucker Butt store.
It's where he gets his jorts.
But seriously, why does every hot sauce have like those names? The Devil's Taint, you know? It's like, why do we, I don't want to eat that.
By the way, the Devil's Taint is not actually that hot.
Okay.
All right. So for those who don't know, Pucker Butt is owned by Ed Curry, who invented the Carolina Reaper and also makes a lot of the hot sauces used on the show Hot Ones. So he's the one that sources a lot of their stuff. And he's gotten into confectionery. So he has pepper-infused chocolates now that he's come out with. And before us is the hottest one that he makes, Pink Mist.
This is the hottest one?
Oh my God.
This is the hottest one he makes.
Why is it mist, though? Like, I am confused on the mist part.
So I'm not sure.
Is it because we're going to be crying, sweating?
Maybe, but if you could look at does it even make sense, the graphic art on the package?
Or no, we're being sniped. I think that's because our brain's going to blow off.
I've got it.
Okay.
Yes. Pink Mist, it's like a sniper shooting, and all you see is the blood mist.
So this
It's
art
very inviting and welcoming.
And who exactly is Willie Pete's?
That is the manufacturer of said chocolates who gets the peppers and
I
put them
see.
into
So
the-
Willie Pete provided it to Pucker Butt, and now we're going to do Pink Mist. This is going to be great.
All right, so everybody just dig in. Everybody just grab a piece of the chocolate.
I see that there's pieces that have distinct pieces of pepper. I'm taking this one because I see big chunks of red in it.
All right, now smell it. It doesn't smell hot, right?
It doesn't smell spicy. That's
Wait,
surprising.
you took a big one?
I took
I took
feel
a
like-
big one.
I took a regular rectangle.
Also,
Big old
all right,
chunk.
all right. Everyone, just to be some safety warnings, try not to touch your eyes after handling this chocolate. I think
It's already melted in my
Definitely
hand.
don't
Good
touch your
point.
devil's
Are we
taste.
just popping this whole thing in our mouth?
I'm willing.
Is that
Let's
how
do
goes
it.
on
Yeah,
All
the-
right,
yeah,
here we
yeah.
go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh boy!
Oh, shit.
Oh boy!
Hold on. It tastes good.
It does taste good.
At first, that is strawberry chocolate with a little bit of something on the end of that.
I chewed it and swallowed it as fast as possible to see how little of it would touch my mouth.
You know what?
I'm wallowing around a bit.
Actually, that's pretty darn good.
No.
Yeah, but breathe a little bit, Marty.
It's pretty hot.
I mean, it's hot, but it's
Mine is building.
It's
Mine
coming.
is building a
Mine
lot.
is still building.
Marinating in the mouth.
My teeth hurt.
It didn't even touch my lips, but I can feel it in my lips.
Oh,
I'm
good.
starting.
Are you okay?
I'm starting to get quite uncomfortable.
You look alarmed.
so everybody does have a bottle of water if you wish to break it open.
Serious
who's gonna drink
question.
first?
Serious question. Is like water or beer better to drink when your mouth is on fire?
Neither. Milk's the best, is what they say.
Cider vinegar right here is actually.
All right.
Yeah.
I must say, I kind of like it. I want another piece.
For real?
I think it's good.
Okay. Oh, I'm not gonna let that fly.
What? No. Don't one-up me.
I am happy to be the only wimp at the table. Okay, I will claim that. I don't need
I'm gonna let it
another.
sit in there a little longer.
Maybe it's because the chocolate's so good, the heat's not really getting to
It's
me.
creamy.
Yes.
Actually it's soothed.
Yeah, that probably
It's
helps.
soothed. And it's coming back.
You're like, I regret my decisions.
It's soothed and then it punched again.
Yeah, it's.
I think Grant's the one hurting more than anybody else right now.
The thing about it is there's like little bits and pieces within the chocolate at different spots. It's not like all uniform.
Right.
It's sticking in my teeth.
This part is like a big chunk of like clear white, so it's not that bad.
Grant, how you doing?
Not great. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I got a lump in my throat right now. Does it? Yeah. Can your throat seize up? How does that work? Is that a thing that can happen?
Maybe we need to shut this down. We call it EMT if you're feeling
No. I'm all right. I'm just not happy to be doing this.
I truly, profusely. Like,
Really?
yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. My thing is, I think it's good hot chocolate.
I agree. It's good.
It's
I like
delicious.
it.
Yeah, you didn't say anything, Alicia. What do you say?
It's okay. Like it's good and creamy. It's spicy, but it's not intolerable. Like I feel like I've had Indian food that's hotter than this.
I feel like I've had hotter
Agreed.
stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to eat a whole candy bar
No.
of
no,
this.
No.
But what we just did, yeah, it's not too bad.
Now, before we got on, Alicia, you said you tried to look up the Scoville, but you couldn't find it for this particular bar.
So Carolina Reapers in general start at 1.4 million and go up to 2.2 million Scoville. I was looking up other chocolate bars just in general, and we were looking at maybe 1.5 million. I don't know exactly where this one lands, but either way, I mean, we're in those 1 to 2 million range.
I think we should check back in with Grant.
Somebody wake him up.
Is it normal to have like all your fingers tingling? I definitely feel that right now, and I am certainly questioning all of our friendships right now.
Okay. Well, before we question too many friendships, why don't we go around the table and tell where people can find you, and in case you're still around to be able to do things after this. I will say, enjoy your trip to the bathroom later on tonight.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even think about that.
The devil's taint.
I mean,
it is.
But he says that to everyone, no matter what we're doing.
That's true. That's nothing to do with the chocolate. So, Grant, if people want to enjoy your amazing content,
They can find me in a hospital. And at Grant's Game Rex.
I am drowning in my own saliva right now. Like,
but I will say nobody's opened a water bottle
nope,
yet. So
I will not be the first.
kudos to y'all.
No, I will go down in this fiery flame, like without water.
We do have only like 3 pieces left. I'm going to go offer it to other people if they want to try it.
Absolutely. I want to be a part of offering it to other people.
Okay.
In fact, we need to pick the right people to offer it to. One of them standing right behind you right now.
And who is that?
That is Emily from MVM. She is here with us as well, and that's where you can find all of our beautiful MVM faces is on Man vs. Meeple.
And by the way, some people are videotaping this, so that you might be finding it on either Grant or Danielle's channel to see the reaction.
You sure will. In all of my sweating glory, which is at Danny_Sandring. Find me sweating.
We will. David, did you say where you were?
I did. I
wasn't
said
paying
we were
attention.
from Man vs. Meeple. I will say, I'm just going to check back in with you on the heat here.
Yeah.
It hasn't gotten worse, but it's not going away.
Mine's,
You're fine now?
Mine's dissipated.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Mine's still hanging out all over.
Baby taste buds.
I'm less drooly. Like,
And Alicia's obviously can be found with David, so thank you.
Yeah,
so,
I can be found with David.
she's the calmest one here. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
See, I definitely handled it.
You handled it better.
we called it.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I'm Rob at Blue Peg Pink Peg, and I'm all over the internet, just Blue Peg Pink Peg, and you'll find us.
All right. Once again, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Open up your waters and enjoy. No.
Nope, I'm not giving him first.
Oh, well, then I think David already has. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that everyone tried it. That was a blast to hear everyone's reactions. And Brittany actually took the bag of grits back home with her.
Yes, back to Canada.
Yep.
And she said, I think she wanted to FaceTime you so you can teach her how to make it.
Yep. So we need to do that. But the best for me is when Connor said it was like cake batter that fell on the floor and got sand in it. That's actually a pretty good description of the texture. I think it was more of it was the texture.
Yeah, it was that's the thing that a lot of people can't get over. And then obviously Grant was hurting with the candy bar. He recovered, y'all. He was fine a little bit later, but that was pretty hot. So that was pretty much our excursion to the Gamers Ranch.
It was a great time. It was a great time. Again, just lots to do outdoors. Had the pier for swimming, the smoke pits, the disc golf course. They had canoes, kayaks, fishing poles.
Super nice owner.
Very nice.
Just came over and hung out with us. He's a gamer himself. Basically, he has a software company, and he said, I wanted to build a ranch for people to come and hang out because he enjoys gaming too.
And you know what? We forgot to say earlier, he sat down and played games with people. We played Scout with him.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Because see, there's so many things that we played. I just can't remember. Did you like Scout?
I did.
Yeah, I like Scout. That's one of my favorite games from last year. So there we go. Gamers Ranch. I highly recommend going and checking it out if you have the means to do so. It's worth going to. And then obviously, all the people that we collaborated with, you want to go follow their stuff and check out podcasts and videos that's going to be coming out or are already out. Vanessa, thank you for going with me. I'm glad I didn't have to go by myself and solo that. And since Tony left me hanging out dry, and it was kind of interesting because it's like Tony was really supposed to go, and then we changed it, and then the room situation was kind of odd at that point because it was supposed to be me and Tony instead it was you and I, but it all worked out.
I do remember there was one point where I pretended to be Tony, and I was like, no. Don't like it. Grumpy Tony.
Grumpy Tony.
I tried to represent Tony. I tried to represent.
You didn't do a very good job.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't very convincing.
So now, instead of saying, hey, I will say, bye, y'all.
Every hero strikes out on their adventure for a different reason.
To prove myself worthy of my mother's praise.
To write my own story and discover who I really am.
To prove to my family that I am more than they believe me to be.
To revive the god that has chosen me.
But when the fragile balance of the world is in jeopardy, and sinister forces move in the darkness, heroes will be tested, pushed to their limits and beyond. And it will be left to them to determine if they are up to the task. There is a darkness rising. Will they be able to overcome the challenges and meet this evil head on?
For my god.
For my story.
For my freedom.
For the world.
To restore the balance. Modified Role Season 2, The Chronicles of Erin, a D&D 5e actual play podcast. New season, new characters, new story. Find us on all the usual podcasting apps or at modifiedrole.com.